Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. You probably have never seen any other US presidency like it was with Donald Trump. In today's episode, we're going to show you the top 10 embarrassing moments in Donald Trump's life. Number 10. Holding hand. Speaking of hand-holding, well, President Trump holds hands with world leaders, maybe because his wife, First Lady Melania Trump, refuses to hold his hand, ever. Look at this video, where the First Lady can be seen shooing her husband's hand away after they exited Air Force One. Obviously, this video went absolutely viral. And then there's another one. Both can be seen walking the red carpet during a visit to Tel Aviv, Israel. And the First Lady just shooshed his hand. Some suggest Melania married Trump for his money. Considering the age difference and objective beauty, that would mean there's not a whole lot of love involved in their marriage. While this could be overblown, considering the massive number of other examples of Trump's embarrassing moves in only 7 months.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 9. The Access Hollywood interview. Obviously, we cannot miss this interview. This is what was considered to be the end of Trump's presidential candidacy. A leaked 2006 interview with Access Hollywood. An interview that took place in which Trump spoke with host Billy Bush. During that interview, Trump joked about sexually harassing and assaulting women.
I took her for I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there, and she was married.
While this was embarrassing, it showed how invincible Trump was during the campaign. If that's not quite surprising for you, then here you go. Trump once said he could go outside and shoot someone in the middle of the street and still not lose supporters.
Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
This goes to show that despite the dialed-up craziness, Trump and his supporters seemed impervious to shame and embarrassment. Number 8. SNL appearance. Back in November of 2015, as a presidential candidate, Donald hosted Saturday Night Live. A lot of people protested his hosting gig. They thought it normalized him as a person and candidate while ignoring some of the horrible things he had said and done in recent years. Well, it was really awkward to watch people who reportedly loathed Trump play along with sketches that showed how great the world was going to be once he became president. Cast members Pete Davidson and Taran Killam claimed Trump struggled to read the scripts given to him. What would you expect from this unpredictable man? Number 7. Out of my way. This won't be wrong to say that President Trump's first international trip was labeled a comedy of errors. It seemed as Trump had very limited knowledge of how the world works, precisely outside his reality. Trump seems to understand that America has major bargaining power abroad, as it is quite clear that the global economy is based on US currency. So Trump never felt the need to kowtow or bow to anyone. Well, this one applied especially to those who disagreed with him. Most of you also would be aware of the fact that Trump, reportedly, loved hearing about himself. Don't be surprised to know that former cabinet members reportedly claim they would compile a daily document filled with positive articles or even pictures of Trump looking strong. The Donald would then peruse pics of himself instead of intelligence briefings. Speaking of, in his first international trip with other NATO allies, in this video you can see Trump strong-armed other world leaders to be more visible in a group photo. Trump pushed aside the Prime Minister of Montenegro and came forward, showing who was the boss. He pretended as if nothing happened. This seems quite embarrassing, but what made this even more absurd was the fact that Montenegro had just been inducted into NATO, which Trump accused of not paying their fair share. Number 6. White House is a dump. Some people opposed Trump, saying that he had no respect or knowledge of history. Well, that seems quite right when we look at many other examples, including this one as well. While playing golf with some reporters in tow, he called the White House a real dump. It seemed as the White House was not up to Donald Trump's standards. No doubt, the White House is very old. Every president since 1800 has lived under its roof. Full of history, it should be seen as a source of pride and power. However, Trump's particular taste and style has been labeled as tacky and cold. Considering that, it seems no surprise that the White House would be just okay for him. Trump reportedly told members of his New Jersey golf club that he spends so much time away from Washington because the White House is a real dump. Well, insulting the White House in that way shows a lack of respect for government institutions. These comments appeared in an article about Trump's complicated love for golf. The story recounts a time Trump was talking with some club members on why he makes such frequent appearances at his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. He denied saying this, but the reporter who first reported it stood by their story. Who do you believe? Classic Trump. Number 5. Fake news. Well, this one is going to make you shocked, only if you haven't seen it before. Look at this picture. Do you notice anything odd about it? Well, yeah, you noticed it. The forehead makeup line. While returning from a helicopter to the White House from a trip to North Carolina, photographers captured a picture of Trump that showed a noticeable tan line on his face. Well, after that, a different version of the photo, which appeared to exaggerate the tan line, later went viral on Twitter, sparking comparisons to Mrs. Doubtfire and Wilson the volleyball from Castaway. The photo becomes part of many memes because of the orange color of Trump's face. Trump couldn't help but weigh in, writing in a tweet, "More fake news. This was photoshopped, obviously, but the wind was strong and the hair looks good. Anything to demean." Number 4. Buying Greenland. Yeah, you heard that right. Trump wanted to buy Greenland, but it was ruled out as a joke. After the president confirmed that he was toying with the idea of trying to purchase Greenland, the internet jumped to assist him, envisioning a Trump Tower on the island and suggesting a potential price point for the transaction. But some people, namely residents of Greenland, did not find the outlandish suggestion to be quite as funny. Denmark's prime minister, while visiting Greenland, remarked that Trump's offer was absurd. Greenland's leadership issued a statement making it clear that the island, a semi-autonomous Danish territory, was not for sale. Number 3. Climate change. When, at one side, almost all of the climate scientists are freaking out about global warming, then there was Trump, who claimed that there's no way to cut carbon emissions without destroying the economy. Quite shocking, but while the green economy was exploding and hiring like crazy, Trump decided to remove the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement that his predecessor, President Obama, helped put together. This agreement aims to limit the amount of carbon a country can release and could save the world in the process. Not a smart move. The United States is only one of 3 countries no longer abiding by it. It seems more absurd and ironic when we look at the justification given for doing so, which was China and India aren't going to cut emissions, so why bother? Well, surprisingly, both China and India are still a part of that agreement, and remarkably, the Chinese are slowly becoming the world leaders in renewable energy. It was really a gigantic step backward and added credence to the rumor that Trump just used to ask people in government, both in the US and in the world, whether or not the topic in discussion was approved by Obama. If it was, he was opposed to it. If it wasn't, he would approve it. There's a lot of disagreement between the left and the right in the United States, but you can't govern by simply undoing what your predecessor tried to accomplish, especially when it comes to something as important as this. And now let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by a subscriber. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it to us. Who knows, we might even feature it in one of our videos. Number 2. The subscriber's pick. Our subscriber picture today shows Trump with his hand forward for a handshake with Vladimir Putin. This picture seems quite odd, and it looks as if Putin was not so okay with that handshake. But this scene, unlike other embarrassing moments of Trump's life, went fine. This picture was taken before the G20 meeting back in the year 2017, when Donald Trump met with Vladimir Putin. They both offered comments, and then it was just followed by a simple handshake. It was just an edited image that makes us curious about it. Number 1. Trump's campaign held a press conference at Four Seasons. Hours before Joe Biden was declared the winner of the presidential election, Trump sent a tweet saying his campaign would hold a press conference at the Four Seasons in Philadelphia. But he then sent another tweet clarifying that the event would actually take place at Four Seasons Total Landscaping, a Philadelphia groundskeeping business located between a crematorium and a sex shop. The location was mistakenly chosen, with the Trump campaign mistaking the landscaping company for the Four Seasons Hotel. The mix-up was a major embarrassment for Trump advisors like Rudy Giuliani, who was forced to peddle his baseless claims about election fraud in a parking lot. But it was a huge success in terms of Twitter jokes and merchandising opportunities for the previously little-known landscaping company. And that concludes our list of the 10 embarrassing moments in Donald Trump's life. What do you think about such acts by Trump? Comment down below to let us know. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay up to date with our latest videos. We'll see you next time.